Hello, everyone. My name is Victor Armstead. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of The Parker Daniels Show.
Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where amazing stories are shared.
And be hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay.
Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where again, we make changes, no excuses. Today's topic, a blind entrepreneur. Today, we have a young gentleman by the name of Dennis. Dennis, he's from the Mecca, Harlem, New York. He is totally blind. However, he is a talent coach, promoter, and he also assists others in the promotion of their podcast, as well as other medias. And he also runs his own podcast. So we're not going to waste any time because I'm excited. I talked with this gentleman off camera. I'm excited to talk with this individual, Dennis, and we're going to get the interview rolling by bringing him on and saying, "What's up, D?"
How you doing, sir? Good to be here.
Oh man, I'm glad to have you, man. Our paths have finally crossed, man. Ever since like a couple of months ago, we've been trying to get this together, but by fate, we're here. So, with that being said, we always start off with a brief history. Give us some insight as to how you lost your sight, as well as when and those things like that.
Sure. Well, actually, I was born with what's called congenital glaucoma in the left eye, and I was born that way. So I was blind in my left eye pretty much from birth, and I had sight in my right eye. Not 20/20, however, but good enough to, I guess, fit in with everybody. And so for the first 11 years of my life, I, visually impaired, but I could see. I went to school. I couldn't see the blackboard. So, remember carbon paper? Some teacher had one of the other students, when they wrote their notes, they would use carbon paper, so they would write my notes at the same time for me. So little accommodations like that. But for all intents and purposes, I could see. I could play video games to all of my friends. I could see. So then at 11 years old, something happened called a retinal detachment. The retina is a network of tissues behind your eye, and if that tissue ruptures or breaks apart, you go blind. And so that's what occurred to me at 11. And so, of course, that redirected my life, and I had to change schools. I had to learn Braille. I had to learn mobility. I received all the services right away, and I stayed in public school. But yeah, it was definitely a readjustment.
Okay, and you basically answered the question that I was going to ask you by answering some of the challenges that you had to endure, and actually, what did you do to overcome them? Do you have a little bit more that you want to elaborate on that subject before we ponder to the next?
Well, as far as overcoming it, fortunately, I got a lot of support early, and fortunately, I wasn't given any negative blind messages like blindness is bad. I didn't know that it was uncool to be blind until I got a little older. I actually didn't know.
Really?
When I first went blind, I didn't know. I mean, the kids, kids react funny to blindness or whatever, but I was young.
Oh yeah.
I was never shown blindness as a negative. Never was. And then when I went blind, I got services right away. I was shown how to, Braille, mobility. This is all when I'm 11 years old. And back then, they actually had talking computers back then as well. They introduced me to talking computers. Like, I got everything right away. So to me, the message got communicated that blind people are normal.
Okay.
Because you can do what everyone else can do. You just need different equipment, but blind people are normal. That's the message I received when I was younger. It's only when I got a little older that I realized that the society at large had a different opinion.
Okay, and we're going to touch on that in a few. But again, for those individuals just joining, we are speaking with Dennis, who is a blind entrepreneur. He has several businesses that he's created, and we're going to jump into that. But definitely want to, again, thank you for coming. Next question. As an independent blind person, and I'm saying that because you have accomplished, the businesses and stuff like that, you created certain businesses, a podcast, and things of that nature. What prompted you to not really sit at home and just twiddle your fingers and what have you, or wait for you? What prompted you to say, I'm a go-getter, I'm gonna go out and create things of my own, and that's gonna lead us into the businesses that you created?
Well, I mean, I guess there's a combination of things. I think that the messages you're given in your formative years are important, and it seems that I've received the right messages at the moment I went blind. So that's one. And number two, I've always been a creative person. And so it's natural for me to create things from drawings. And then after I went blind, I started creating, audio improv skits, and I moved into like music and things like that, just a performer. I was always a creator. And so that drove me. All I wanted to do was express myself. And three, I'm just a hard-headed SOB. Okay, if you want to go there. I want to do what I want to do, when I want to do it on my own timetable, and I don't want anyone to have anything to say about it. So I like that. I just kind of forged ahead. I was just determined. I didn't like someone saying no to me. I didn't like not having a say-so over what I did and where I went. I wanted to be self-determining. And I've been like that since I've been a kid, which makes for a really difficult kid sometimes. And it gets your ass beat sometimes. But still, nevertheless, and that's what your parents are supposed to do. You're not supposed to be 5 years old running over them. But that was I'm just like that. I am a person that's committed to being self-determining. And I think that passion is the main driver behind a lot of these things.
Well, that's great, because look where it had brought you and whatnot, and that is a businessman, entrepreneur, and what have you. So with that being said, let's talk about the different businesses that you created and why you chose these types of businesses to start. And, just give us a little insight so the audience can know that, you have that drive. You're not the type of person that's just going to sit at home and twiddle your thumbs and just wait for an SSI check. Because I like your motivation. I learned a lot from just off camera talking with you. So give it to them.
Well, as far as how I came up with the business I have, like I said, I was always a creator. I was always into performing arts and singing and acting and speaking and radio. I had a lot of different passions, and all surrounded expressing myself and performing arts. But sometimes if you are the kind of person like I am, and you're a go it alone, do your own thing kind of person, don't listen to nobody, and you find out things for yourself, sometimes that road could be a long and winding one. So I end up going out there and doing things and learning things on my own. I didn't really have a strong male figure in my life growing up. I didn't, as I got older, I found out that blindness wasn't cool. So I didn't have a lot of friends that were my age. So I had to kind of learn the ups and downs of life and manhood and whatever else myself. So, so it was and with that, I had to learn how to stay confident and be confident in myself. Because, you have people around you who don't think you can do anything because you're blind. You have people around you who want to, if you leave it up to a lot of people, blind people would be in some sort of institution with a 24-hour home attendant and wouldn't really have much of a life if you left it up to other people.
That's true.
And so I had to, battle those conflicting messages, what society said I should be versus what I wanted to be. And so I had to make sure I was confident enough to do this. So I went on a whole long journey of self-improvement. I read books. I did a lot of studying on, human behavior, self-esteem, confidence, spirituality. I went on this whole self-taught kind of journey. So combine that with my need to perform and teach. I don't know. It kind of all evolved, like anybody else. I've done things in the past. I've run small organizations in the past. I've, worked for a media company in the past and so forth. And all those different experiences evolved into the entrepreneurial business I have today.
Okay, and that's what I definitely want to focus on. Tell us about those businesses and how successful have you been thus far?
Yes, I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away.